Hey, what's going on? My name is Samuel L. Jackson Jr. Yes, Samuel L. Jackson Jr., even though I'm a Denzel Washington fan. I'm actually from Marietta, Georgia, but I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm an athletic trainer. I focus on training younger kids from anywhere from 6 to 17 years old. I do basketball training, strength and conditioning training, and I've been doing that for around six years now. This is how it manifested my dream, by having straight resilience. There's times I remember back when I was in college, I knew I wanted to play basketball, but things didn't really turn out the way that it was supposed to. So I ended up going to Georgia Southern. I already hated school. I was never a school guy. And with that being said, my grades were falling. I was hanging around the wrong crowds. A moment I almost gave up was when I got kicked out of college. And I spent most of what made it so demoralizing. I spent most of my life playing basketball, trying to get a basketball scholarship. And I get on the campus, yet again, I hate school. So I'm finding myself into like these big college lectures, and I'm not paying attention. I'm going to La La Land. Of course, the grades are going to show. Got kicked out of school, so I'm sitting at home, back at my parents' house. And it just dawned on me the same way I wasn't bad at basketball, but it took a period of time for where I really just had to lock in and understand I had to change my habits, the way that I looked at the game of basketball. So I had to change the way I look at the game of life in a situation. So I had to change my habits, whether that be me waking up earlier or me reading, doing meditations. I had to do something. What made me keep on going, just understanding my mom, she's extremely resilient. She had half of what she gave me. I don't want to be stereotypical, but Memphis is not the safest city. And, she had three kids. I don't want to say being a single mother, but she had to try and figure out means, like, make ends meet to now to where she's at. And I always look at yet again, her resilience and how powerful she is. What made me keep on going was just understanding that it's always going to be trials and tribulations. There's always going to be rainy days. There's going to be some dark days. But understand you have to push through it. I read in a book that faith and fear both demand that you believe in something that you can't see. So always keep that in mind. What was the cost of chasing your dreams that people don't see? Definitely isolation. Isolation is going to be a lot of lonely nights where you have to do it by yourself. You have to show up for yourself a lot, 99% of the time. You can't expect nobody to give you a high five. You got to give yourself a pat on the back. And also just, you have to be self-sufficient. You know, motivation, motivation can only get you so far, but discipline is going to get you over the edge. You have to be consistent. You have to show up every single day. But that's not what everybody wants to do. That's not what everybody wants to talk about. And truthfully, the hardest thing to do is, or the easiest thing to do is sometimes the hardest thing to do. Because if I were to tell you, I can't blame nobody else but myself for my own results. So I have to show up for myself. And I double down yet again on isolation. You have to mix with the right people, the right crowds. Like I don't have a lot of friends. I don't go to parties. You have to make sacrifices. And I used to think when I was growing up, a sacrifice was meant that somebody had to die. But whenever you are making a sacrifice, something does have to die, whether that be like a habit or some type of routine. You have to replace it. You have to give to get. You have to make some type of sacrifice, some type of compromise. But what would I tell the version of myself who almost quit? It's a funny thing because it's ironic too, because this 2016 and be 10 years since I graduated from high school. And I never forget the day of my graduation. Everybody's cheering, everybody's looking. And I was so upset. I don't want to say I was upset, but I was just confused because yet again, I spent so much time playing basketball, putting my life into basketball. And I knew that's not really what I want to do anymore. So I was in limbo about my next steps in life. So what would I tell myself 10 years? Have fun with the process. Make as many mistakes as you can. And try new things. Don't be scared to step outside of your comfort zone. And just, yet again, enjoy the process. Stay grateful. And understand that God is real. Final thought is just really, I'm grateful to where I'm at in life, understanding how powerful we are as human beings, and not even as human beings, but spiritual beings. I believe that everybody has their own unique path that they have to walk down to get into some type of enlightenment. So with all that being said, I think that yet again it's so ironic. Manifest your dreams. I'm a firm 1,000% believer in manifesting your dreams. We all have visions. We all have something that we want to attain for. The same way you plant a seed in the ground, you have to water, you have to give energy to it, and one day it will grow into whatever you want it to be, whether that be an apple tree or it could just be a standard tree. But you have to plant it to the ground, and it might be dark for a minute. You can't see the seed grow, but the sprouts are going to be growing, the roots are going to be growing. Keep on giving it that energy, you keep on giving that vision life, you keep on getting into your imagination. Visualize. Keep on giving that energy. Feed it every single day. The same way that you take a shower. Nurture it. And it will grow.